Hello, 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 everyone. This is Damon, the agent, coming to you all live, where we talk about real estate, real life, real talk, real live. I do want to apologize about last week for not showing up. I had some technical difficulties that I could not resolve, and so for that, I'm going to do an extended, extra 30 minutes today instead of an hour. We're going to be on possibly an hour and a half. We're going to be talking about numerous topics, like I always discuss. I always like to start my show off with talking about real estate. So we're going to jump into that. But first, I would like to send my condolences to all the children who passed away in Texas. We had another unfortunate incident in the United States. And, this world is kind of terrible right now that we're in. But we just have to pray for each and every one, especially our children. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was really hurt by what took place. Being as I have a young child myself, I mean, I have kids myself, especially kids in elementary school, and so defenseless and innocent. So I just want to send my condolences in reference to that. So let's get right into it. I want to talk about, in the world of real estate, choosing the right lender. And the reason why I want to talk about this and focus on this is because in the world of real estate, whenever you're purchasing property, your finances have to be in place. And when your finances are in place, then it's so much easier to move forward with purchasing something. Many people go online, they look at houses, they like a house, then they want a house, then they try to figure out what they need to do financially. But if you're already in a position to buy financially, it's so much easier moving forward. So I recently got a phone call from someone out of state. Actually, preferably, it was actually in Philadelphia. And this person knew I do real estate. So she called me and she was talking about the appraisal. She was talking about how she had lost the EMD. She put $10,000 down. She was talking about all these things. So I had asked her, why didn't you reach out to me first before you began the process? And she told me she went into Bank of America. And when she went into Bank of America, she said that they made her pay for the appraisal up front. And I told her different lenders and mortgage brokerage have different ways of doing things. A lot of lenders, such as the major banks, such as Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Capital One, they are higher institutions and they have a guideline that they tend to follow. Unless you have A1 credit, I will always say that unless you have A1 credit and they're giving you a good interest rate, I wouldn't go that route. Real estate is always local. So I always tell people that when it pertains to lenders, they have thousands of local mortgage brokers. And the reason they have these mortgage brokers is to accommodate and help the local residents be able to purchase homes in their particular area. So I also explained to her that most of the time when you're paying for the appraisal is not paid for until you have a contract that has been accepted by the sellers and you're under contract. Once you're under contract, then the buyers normally have to pay for the appraisal. But in her case, she had to pay for it while she was looking for homes. And I asked her, well, what if you didn't find a home? So, with that being said, she could not get that back. And then she went through the process of, unfortunately, from what she explained to me, her realtor did not explain things thoroughly to her. And therefore, when she wrote the contract out for this particular property, the realtor somehow did not communicate with the lender to see how much time they needed. And again, when you're using most big banks such as Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Capital One, or whatever, those banks normally need anywhere from 30 to 60 days to close. Most of the time, it's 45 days before they can close on a loan. 20286. Most of the time, they need 30 to 60 days before they can close on a loan. So because of that, that, is not normally longer than most mortgage brokers need. Most mortgage brokers need 21 to 30 days to close. But this is something that most experienced realtors will actually know by holding communications with the lenders. And most local realtors work with lenders anyway. So in most transactions, the realtor and the clients are always the connection to everything. Like if you're buying a house, the realtor is going to guide most buyers through the entire process from the beginning, from the financing to the showing the properties to making an offer to doing the home inspection to when the appraisals come in to doing the final walkthrough to doing the settlement. Most realtors will do that. I always say, unless you already know a lender, you know what I'm saying, you always want to begin with with a local realtor in order to guide you through the process. Now, unfortunately, that person lost her $10,000 EMD. EMD means earnest money deposit. She lost that because the contract that was written out didn't have enough time for the lenders to process, because that went through Bank of America. They needed 45 to 60 days. That realtor wrote 30 days in a contract. So the sellers ended up putting the house back on the market and will not sign off on that person's earnest money deposit release because they felt like the buyer did not commit to going through with the whole process. But again, this always going back to understanding and choosing the right lender, knowing what lender you are working with, knowing that the lender has thoroughly explained the numbers to you. And when I say numbers, I mean numbers from how much your mortgage payment is going to be based off your approval amount, how much time is needed, things of that nature. Lenders can thoroughly explain these things. The problem is some buyers don't ask the questions because they don't know to ask the questions. And at the same time, they get a surprise later on. Like, for example, let's say a buyer hypothetically is approved for $500,000. But let's say based off their living and their lifestyle, they only approved for $350,000. And what do I mean by that? I mean, basically, like, lenders do not factor in how much money you spend for gas, child care, for those who get their hair done, for those who get pedicures and manicures. Those things are not factored into your approval amount, because what lenders are looking at, they're looking at your tax returns, your last 30-day income. They're looking at your bank statement. They're looking at these things, your debt to income ratio. They're looking at these things to determine how much home you can afford. But you, as a buyer, really know how much house you can afford based off your comfortability level. And meaning, like, for example, you may be approved for $500,000, but just based off how much you want to pay monthly for mortgage, you might only approve for $400,000. Meaning you shouldn't be looking at $500,000 homes. You should be looking at $400,000 homes because it's based off your mortgage payment amount. And that's mainly a lot of times what people should focus on, your mortgage payment amount, because that tells you a lot right there. But again, like I was stating, choosing the right lender will alleviate a lot of problems during the transaction. If you know a lender and you choose to go through that lender, I will always advise to go through the lender. If you don't, I would strongly suggest you start with a realtor who knows what they're doing. Just like, unfortunately, with that particular client, that realtor doesn't seem to know what he was doing. And I asked her, did she ask him how long he's been experienced and everything? And she said that I think he said 20 years or 25 years. But I told her there are many licensed realtors out here who hold licenses but don't do any transactions. That's why if you look at the high rate of turnovers for realtors, and when I say that, meaning like there are plenty of people, everybody knows somebody who used to sell real estate or had a real estate license, but they no longer selling real estate license. And in some cases, me being a realtor, I even bumped to people who say, oh yeah, I put my real estate license in referral status. And truth to be told is they weren't selling any houses, because if you're selling houses in real estate, you're not putting in referral status. So, you know what I'm saying, it's too much money to be made. So if you're really selling houses, you're not going to put in referral status. People put in referral status to save their license and everything. So again, the reason why the turnover rate is so high is because real estate is not as easy as people may think it is. The realtors you see that are really grinding and hustling, and they're going to closing, and they got clients and stuff, they're experienced, they're knowledgeable, they know what they're doing and stuff. You understand? And they have repeat business because of the fact of all of those things and more. But I'm just saying that to say that people always know people who used to do real estate and they're no longer doing real estate, and that because they're not selling anything. And again, sometimes it has to do with inexperience or whatever. But just like that particular realtor for that lady, he seemed very experienced. And I share that to say this. I remember when I got into the business, and I was in the business for maybe 7 years at the time, and I was had a transaction going on with an agent. And when I spoke with this agent wanted to clearly tell me she's been doing real estate for 15 years. And I was like, ma'am, you don't sound like someone who's been doing it for 15 years because of what she was saying. So she got mad, of course, and everything. So when we got off the phone, I went into the system and looked up her numbers. In 15 years, this lady had only done 15 transactions. So that told me that she had another job somewhere where she was getting paid. And it also showed me she was inexperienced because her conversation let me knew that she was inexperienced, because an experienced agent wouldn't have been saying the things that she was basically saying. So I say that to say is, even when this lady told me that this guy's been doing it for 20 years, that does not necessarily mean in 20 years he has a lot of experience. People can hold on to licenses by paying the fees, by paying the dues, because they have another form of income coming in, whether it's another job or whether it's something else. People do it all the time, but I always question how taxi drivers get their license, and they got a driver's license and they got a driver's license and a taxi driver's license and everything. So I always say that to say that people need to, you know what I'm saying, you know, be mindful of what you know what I'm saying, what people say and everything. Sometimes you have to do your homework, your due diligence to see what's actually going on. But I also want to say that that with her EMD is still pending. So I don't know what to say in reference to that, but I hope that she does get her earnest money deposit soon, because of the fact that she was a very good person, and I just hate when people go through situations where they're losing money or they're losing things and it's not their fault. So I spoke with her like a little over a week ago, and I told her to please keep me updated on what's going on so I can know and everything. But she had clearly told me that, you know, that what was happening with her in reference to her EMD. So let's just pray that everything worked out when it pertains to that. So people, I have a guest coming on today. Every week I'm going to also do a business spotlight for the businesses that I have. Not just that I have, that you all have, and that people that I know, just to highlight and, you know, support their businesses and everything. And I have a business spotlight. Hold on for a second. I went to my Facebook page to see something. Hold on, y'all. Please bear with me. Please bear with me, y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you. Hold on for 1 second, y'all. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I just had to make sure something was connected. I just realized I wasn't connected on all my platforms. I got people calling me, so I figured the people calling me must have been telling me that I wasn't on the other platforms. But like I said, I have someone coming on who is, she is, I've known her for a while. We went to high school together, and her name is Michelle Smith. I know that's a common name, but her name is Michelle Smith. And with Miss Smith and everything, she's running for Senate. And the fact that she's running for Senate is kind of amazing to me. But like I said, every week I'm going to do a business spotlight. So People that are my past clients and people who want to come on just to spotlight their business are welcome. We just have to talk about it first. But this week I'm going to spotlight Miss Smith because she's running for Senate, and the fact that she's doing that is amazing. Um, we went to high school together. Alexa, pause. Sorry, you are. And the fact that she's doing that is amazing. You know, I always like to see people striving to become great in this world. So many of us, what we see a lot of times growing up, we see people that we know who are somewhat stuck where they were when we were going to school. We see people on so many levels and stuff to the point where that they don't move forward in life. So whenever you see somebody that you personally know that's out there trying to do good, you tend to want to, what I'm saying, strive for them and strive to help them in any way possible. At least I know I do. I'm not a hater. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even though unfortunately we all have haters, even in our own family, we have haters and stuff like that. I'm not a hater. I'm one of these people who try to support people on all levels and stuff like that because I will always want somebody to support me. So I always try to support people. So again, with that being said, I'm going to bring on, hold on for 1 second, you all. I'm just trying to see. And I'm sorry for those of you all. I was talking briefly about choosing the right lenders. Just to summarize that up while I wait for Ms. Smith is the fact that choosing the right lender is the key to any transaction when it pertains to real estate. Like I just mentioned, and for those on Instagram, they heard me, but some people on Facebook didn't hear me. There's a young lady I know in Philly, and she's been having a rough time because she went into Bank of America. And when she went into Bank of America, she was told to pay for the appraisal up front, and she lost her money, and then she lost the $10,000 earnest money deposit because she went to a real estate agent, and he told her he had 20 years of experience, but he didn't seem like he did because of the fact that he didn't have good communications with the lender to know how much time the lender actually needed to close the deal. And because that happened, the date that he put in the contract had surpassed, and the seller relisted the property and took another offer. So she lost her $10,000 on his money deposit. And like I said, that unless you know a lender personally, to always go through a realtor, because the realtor is the middleman in the entire transaction, from dealing with the lender, dealing with the appraiser, dealing with the home inspector, dealing with the title company. Realtors deal with everyone in the transaction. So it's always good to get an experienced realtor. And even if it's not an experienced realtor, just someone who's very knowledgeable and know what they're actually doing. That's the key to losing and saving money all around. So let's see. Hold on for 1 second. I'm trying to get Miss Smith. For a second, I'm trying to get Miss Smith on here. Part of this week's business spotlight. Let's see what it is. Hold on for me, bear with me. I have a new platform. Oh, okay. Hold on for 1 second. Here go Miss Smith. I'm sorry. Here she go. Hold on for 1 second.
I had some issues trying to get in.
You hear me?
The laptop. I don't know what's going on. It says it does not see my mic.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear you.
All right, wait a minute. What the hell? Okay, can you hear me?
I still can't hear you.
My mic is on.
You said you can hear me? Hold on for 1 second.
Yeah, I can hear you. My mic is on.
Let's see if it's me. Hold on for a second, Miss Smith. Let me see. Hold on for 1 second. Hold on. I'm just trying to see if it's my mic.
Okay.
But you said you can't hear me?
I can hear you, and my mic is not muted.
Trying to check this settings on here to see. No, I can't hear you. Do you have something plugged into your laptop? Do you have like a mic plugged in?
I'm on my cell phone.
You on your phone?
I'm on the phone, yeah.
Oh, you're on your phone? Okay. Damn, I don't know why I can't hear you. Hold on for 1 second. Hold on for 1 second. I want to see if everyone else can hear you. Because if everyone else can hear you, that'll be fine. But if we can't, I'm going to need you to hang up and call back in. Hold on for 1 second.
I can call your cell.
Hold on for 1 second. Hold on. Hold on. All right, say something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm sorry. Okay. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good.
That's wonderful. All right, say something. Hold on. Let me check. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, I need to turn that one off. Okay. So, Miss Smith, tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, all right. My name is Michelle L. Smith, and I'm currently employed as a top-notch senior FOIA analyst, and I work for the United States Agency for International Development. I have several years of federal government experience with an extensive background in national security, law enforcement, foreign relations, and advisory opinions. Also, I work part-time in radio as an audio engineer. And this includes producing, mixing, and mastering commercials, drops, and docudramas, and the like. And my favorite hobbies that I love to do on the regular is I love swimming, gardening, playing spades, attending live concerts, fine dining, and beach vacations.
Sounds like you're very active and everything.
Oh,
So
yeah.
why are you running for office? Please tell the people.
I'm running for office to preserve our future and the rights of every American citizen according to the United States Constitution. While running for honesty, compassion, truth, and hope, I want to help discuss and make people aware of the serious problems that we're currently facing in our society. As Americans, we have an obligation to seek justice for all mankind. By career trade, I am not a politician. However, I do have a heart. And on that note, that is why I decided to run for political office to bring to light the concerns of our nation and propose ideas to help us deal with them on a level in which everyone can positively benefit from.
Okay, that sounds good. So what areas of public policy are you passionate about?
I'm passionate about healthcare as well as issues pertaining to our military veterans, definitely housing for the elderly, and healthcare of women, most definitely. The most recent issue, which we're already aware, everybody knows about what happened on Tuesday with that shooting down in Balday, Texas. So gun control is definitely on the top of my list. I'm not sure what's going to be done about that. It's not surprising because we know that money is involved, and that when it comes to making money, simply, a lot of these politicians just simply don't care, about what's happening out here, and they don't want to strengthen the laws, or at least to try to make certain laws strict, or at least pass universal background checks and stuff like that. And I don't see how that would cause anyone to lose money if we don't, institute that. Guns weapons are still going to be purchased, but they need to be careful of who they're selling these weapons to.
Right. Yeah, I saw something on social media the other day about how much money the NRA has paid to a lot of those senates and everything. So
Yeah, to their campaign, millions of dollars. I saw that online. So yes, the NRA has done that. Yes, exactly.
okay, so what do you perceive to be the United States' greatest challenges as a nation over the next 10 years?
Permanently eliminating terrorist activities at home and abroad, dealing with Ukraine and their hodgepodge of problems. And I kept saying this for years before Russia invaded the country this year. We've been dealing with Ukraine's issues since 1991 when they first broke off from the Soviet Union. I believe that another challenge will be reducing war. We can't seem to stay out of war, can we? And also overseas traveling and COVID, building new partnerships with countries and regaining trust and passing legislation for serious gun control.
Wow. Wow. So what separates you from everyone else that's running?
Well, Damon, I've never been a politician, and I have never dreamed of running for any kind of political position ever. I've never even thought about this. But recently it has gotten into my heart that I should get out here and do something and say something. But if I'm going to get out here and do it, I decided that it had to be at the highest level. I didn't want to run for no small county seat or some kind of local town seat or some type of mayor. I didn't want that, because you can't affect change at that level. I want to go down to the Capitol Hill. I want to go to the Hill and affect change and see about, passing some laws that are going to really help people and not hurt the American people. A lot of people are hurting right now. What makes me different is that I'm not corrupt. I have a heart. I care about other people and not just myself. And also, I've walked in many people's shoes. I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like to live poorly and to live in a very bad neighborhood. I know what it's like to have roaches in your home and you trying to get them out of there. I know what it's like to rob Peter to pay Paul. I basically walked in the general American person's shoes, because that's pretty much the story of just about almost all of the country, because only 1% is rich in this country. But that's the basic story for everybody. We struggle. The struggle is never going to end. But, I thank God that recently I just came to a point in my life financially where I'm okay. And I no longer have to rob Peter to pay Paul. I robbed Peter so much, he was begging me to stop.
Yeah, I understand. I think everyone in life at some point in time goes through some type of financial struggle. Some people just fake it more than others and act like, they always living a great or perfect life. But truth be told is nobody lives a great or perfect life, no matter what financial income level that you're actually on. So all those things sound good. So another question I have is, as a potential, upcoming Senate and everything, with politicians tend to always say the right things, and they tend to always, they beg and plead for everybody's vote. They kiss the babies. They say once they, get in office, they're going to do change. But a lot of times once they get in office, it seems like taxes go up, whether it's property taxes or whatever. What would you do to alleviate, I guess in the state of Maryland, since that's where you're running, like the taxes? Like, for example, in Prince George's County, the taxes are the highest in Prince George's County, property taxes, than in any other county. Like Montgomery County is a richer county than Prince George's County, but their taxes is way cheaper than Prince George's County. So what would you do as a Senate to help alleviate that for the people who are residents of, say, of that county?
I would find other ways for the county or to make money. In other words, I would look into getting with maybe some business folks, some brokers who can take PG County funds and manage them in a hedge fund for us. That's a way to make some money. There's other ways to make money. You don't have to keep stealing it from the people and keep putting your hands in other people's pockets to take it. So that's one of the things I would definitely do. Talk to some brokers to see how they can benefit the county with hedge funds. That is a great way to do it. It's not like it's illegal or anything. That is something that we can do. Invest money, invest and get the returns and start doing things with that money. Also, I would look into more advertising opportunities for companies that want to advertise and stuff like that, and create advertising spaces on the county's websites. Because right now, currently, some of the county websites don't have that. But I've seen other county websites that allow for advertising, if you know what I mean, like little spots and spaces where they can put banners and things up. And there's nothing wrong with that. Metro does it all the time. You see, they got advertising on the side of the buses. They know how to bring in extra income. We can do the same. There's just so many opportunities to bring in revenue without taking it from the citizens, without taking it from the residents, without taking it from property owners. You know, we deal with a situation in the summer of, I believe it was 2020, when the PG County Council wanted to raise our property taxes. And I'm like, what? No, but they didn't. But 3 people on that county council did vote for it. The remaining council members said no, that was not a good idea. And basically, they wanted to take it up as high as 10%, which means if your home is valued at $300,000, the county would tax it at $330,000, 10% of $300,000, and that is not cool at all. That's just, you're basically taking money from people. That is not why we even buy homes in the first place, right?
Correct.
You're the agent, right? We don't buy homes.
Right. Yeah, and
now we buying them because it's an investment. That is what y'all realtors tell us, right? It's a great investment. And that's what we want out of the deal. We want the investment. We want the perks. We want to get those credits on our taxes and stuff like that. But the last thing we want is for anybody to try to raise taxes on property owners. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't stand for that. There's other ways to generate revenue. It's all about what you know in this particular case. And I have a lot of background with helping with generating revenue and how to cut funding where it doesn't need to be. You know what I'm saying? How to decrease fraud, waste, and abuse. So those are things that you got to look at. That's areas where you can find money too, extra money. Cut back where that money is not being spent and where it doesn't need to be. You know, you and I know that because we've raised families, so we know how to budget. We know how to cut in certain areas and put money somewhere else. You know what I'm? It's not rocket science.
Yeah. The one thing that always been mind-boggling to me, even as a realtor, and when I notice with the property taxes, is they always put an assessment. They say the word assessment, and when they say the assessment value of your home, you know, and then they base the property taxes on that. But unless you're an actual appraiser, there's no way for the county to know the true value of your home. So, for example, if you purchased your home for, let's say, $150, and then of course equity grows over time, and your house may be worth $350 now, but the county may say, well, based off our assessment, your house is worth $400,000, but it's really worth $350. They want to base the taxes off the $400,000, and they making an assessment. They never sent an appraiser or anything, and then they raising your taxes based on what they think, not what they know. You understand?
But all property owners have to know you have the right to appeal it.
Correct.
Get your own appraiser to appraise the property, and you appeal it and send the information back to them, and then they got to correct their records.
Right, but a lot of times, unfortunately,
a lot of people don't know that you can do that.
And they don't do it even when they know, they don't do. Unfortunately, it just depends on. It's always situational per wherever, because like I said, in other counties, they do that. You understand, because they know their rights and stuff. But other ones, it just seems like some people are content with just owning a home and they don't say anything. They may complain with each other, but they don't write in or make the necessary calls that they should do. You know what I'm saying?
But the letter, when they send us those assessment bills every year, they said on there, it's clearly on it that you can appeal it. Because, I mean, as a homeowner, I'm not dumb. And the only reason why I can say that is because I count all my pennies, because every penny counts. Like I said, I know what it was like to rob Peter to pay Paul. I know what it was like to be down and out. I know what it's like to be poor and to live in conditions that were not favorable. I know what those things are like. I was homeless at one time.
Right.
After during that first economic recession we had,
right.
Things, you know, all hell broke loose in 2009, and I had just got a master's degree from Howard University, but no jobs.
Right.
And oh my gosh. Anyway, I look at those bills. People need to really pay attention to their bills. Some folks got an idea of what their homes are worth. You know, sometimes it's instinctive. You like, wait a minute. I know my house is not worth no 400,000. Why is the county saying it's worth 400,000
Right.
when your neighbor just sold their house for 280 or something like that, or like somebody around the corner probably sold their house for 349. You're like, wait a minute, my house is not worth that much. It doesn't hurt to ask a realtor to pull comps for you. It doesn't hurt to ask, but that's why I'm glad you do this show, so that you can keep everybody informed of their rights and responsibilities.
Yeah, I've had some people who've called me before who asked me to run a few comps for them for some, because they wanted to get the true value of their homes. The thing is, though, is, but like you said, people have to be aware enough and pay attention and then contest certain things, because even though you're running for Senate and you're trying to advocate change, there are many politicians out here who they talk a good game. They say, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then they get into office and nothing changes. It's just like, for example, looking at what's the thing? President Biden, for example. A lot of people voted on him on the strength of Obama, to be honest with you. And he got in and said he was going to do this and do that, and it's like he's like a puppet, if you ask me. So again, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know people don't like Trump, but people knew what they was getting with Trump. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, the difference with me, if I was elected as the senator, not only would I get in there and actually do my job, I would continue to educate the people, which means the current website that I have up running for Senate would have to change to being the senator, but I'm always going to continue to educate people. No secrets. There's not going to be any secrets between me and the people. That's the difference between me, and I'm not going to be lying to the people. That's the one thing I'm not going to do. It is not in my heart to be lying. And a lot of politicians, they do that on the regular. They just keep lying to people. Shut the hell up.
That's why I'm laughing, because
I wasn't built that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the difference with me. I'm going to actually do the work and get in there and do my job. And I'm going to keep the people educated in the state of Maryland. Because, people send you emails and they ask questions. So if one person asks a question, the way I see it, it's a question for all. And I would put those answers and post it right on the website with fact-based evidence and where I got the information from and where they can get the information if they want to check it out. Just be honest with people. A lot of people are tired of the lies.
So just like you're talking about like gun advocate and all these things and stuff like that, me as a person, I feel as though that a lot of laws that are in place are just so outdated. You understand? So like do senators put in to update or change any laws and everything? And the reason why I'm asking,
Yes. And also the states have to do the same thing too. The governors, some laws that are so old and outdated, they're supposed to take them off of the books. But that's in each state does what does that. They do their own thing. Oh my gosh, power just went out. Good thing I did do this on the cell phone with you.
Oh yeah, because of the storm and everything.
Storming over here.
Yeah. I just asked that about the laws and stuff like that, because what I'm saying, just like how they're trying to advocate for the gun control and things of that nature. I just feel like there's so many laws out here that just totally outdated. And one of them is I feel like the child support rule. I don't pay child support anymore. I have 4 grown kids and I have a 2-year-old, and which I don't, I take care of her. But I just know when I was paying child support that those laws I felt like were just so outdated and everything. And I mean, like, it's so much I can talk about in talking about that. But I just wanted to know, do Senate advocate to update laws? Because it seemed like people are comfortable. And I think that all laws need to be updated every decade, every 10 years, because times are different. Just like this is 2022. If you go back to before segregation for Black people, it was a totally different time then. If you go back, like, look at the technology and everything that's in place today, like, go back every 10 years, it's something different. So I think like laws need to be reviewed and updated like every 10 years. That's just my opinion.
That's why on my website, if you go to the policy tab, I am proposing to make amendments to the current child support laws. For instance, I want to fight for men that have been wrongly ordered to pay child support for children that are not biologically theirs. In some states, men are paying child support for children that are not theirs. And once the DNA test shows that it's not their child, that information, I don't see the problem with correcting that information. If that father doesn't want to pay for a child that's not his, I mean, that's understandable. And then another thing about that I want to deal with is allow those fathers to obtain a state tax credit for funds that have already been paid during the course of child support, where the DNA actually said they weren't the father. So at least we can help them out in that area and give, you know what I'm saying, give them a break. Well, okay, since you're paying this child support for this child that's not yours, then maybe we can give you a tax credit or some sort. I mean, I don't see why not, because that would help the father out. But sometimes the men are paying child support for children that are not theirs because they were married to the woman. You know what I'm saying? And the judge just went on and made him pay child support for all the kids, including his. I mean, there's several reasons. But no man should have to pay child support for a child that's not this. It just doesn't make sense to me. You wouldn't make a mother pay child support for a child that's not hers, right? Right? Look at both sides. So, let me turn my hotspot on. could not get it through here. Oh, that's right.
Michelle.
I'm right here.
Okay, I do apologize about that. The power went out where I was at. So
Okay.
Yeah, so you were just talking about advocating for child support, and you were basically saying that you were going to try to, you had some things in place for laws. But I just wanted to share quickly, like when I was I remember when I had to pay, like my kids are grown now, but I remember I was raising one of my daughters, and when I got custody of her, they made her mother start to pay child support to me. I actually was going to drop it because I don't believe in allowing the court to tell me what to do. But unfortunately, she had did something like she took my daughter out of school. And when she did that, she wasn't on any paperwork. She took my daughter out of school. And when she did that, I decided just to leave it on there. But I remember when we went into the court system, and she had owed at the time probably $7,000 in child support. It was somewhere around that amount. And I had said to the judge, Your Honor, she owes X amount of dollars for child support. Why is her statement being taken into consideration? And the judge was like, well, we're not here for that matter right now. We're here for the name change, because I was getting my daughter's last name changed to mine. And I said, Your Honor, that might be true, but if that was me and I owed a speeding ticket and I got to court for half of what she owed, you would have threw me in jail. And she was able to walk out the court and, walk in the court and walk out the court, no consequences to her at all. Then I remember my oldest daughter, I remember I had to go to court because her mother took me for a modification. And I remember when her mother took me for modification and everything, I remember the lady, while we had to go into the room, I was just holding a conversation with her. And I swear sometimes I feel like everybody at child support just hate men. I just felt like they just hated men because I was being nice to her. I was like, hey, y'all real busy today. How you doing? She never spoke back to me. Then she was like, hey, so what are you going to do about this case where you owe $11,000? And I was like, ma'am, I don't owe $11,000. I said, see that little light-skinned girl over there? I said, that's my daughter. Her mother owes me $11,000. So since y'all got that up, you know what I'm saying? What are y'all going to do about it? And she didn't even say anything. And then I was like, well, is this child support or mother support? Because I'm a father that gets no support. She just ignored me and everything. And then I remember my oldest daughter at the time being a teenager. She was like 12, 13 years old. And I had got 1 month behind. And I had been paying on time for over a decade. For like 11, 12 years, I paid behind. But I got 1 month behind because I had actually got suspended from my job and everything for 3 weeks. So, you know what I'm saying? When they sent in the payment, it wasn't much. So they summoned me to court. And when they summoned me to court, they were talking about something. Why did I get behind that thing? I said, look, I've been paying on time for a decade. If I got 1 month behind, obviously something has happened in my life in order for things to change and stuff. I said, but 1 month? And only reason why I bring up these things, because I noticed with me as a father who was trying, who was paying, it seemed like they were trying any little thing I did wrong. I was getting prosecuted to the fullest. But then when it was something like the mother, you know what I'm saying, they got a tap on the hand or, you know what I'm saying, a slap on the wrist, there was no consequences. So I always felt like, you know what I'm saying, the whole dynamics of the system is not really about child support. I always felt like, because I also know that the child support system is connected to the welfare system. And I also know that back when segregation occurred, that a lot of times back then, when a lot of Black people were unemployed and people were, and the mothers were trying to get government assistance, that back then they were when the mothers were trying to get government assistance, they would always ask for the father's information. But if the father was in the house, they wouldn't give the government assistance to the father. So the fathers had to leave the house. Then when the mothers tried to get the assistance, they would ask the mothers for the father's information. At one point in time, the mothers would say they didn't know it, but then they were making it mandatory that they provided in order to get this assistance. And then what they would end up doing was slapping the fathers with child support, and then the father automatically in arrears when they found out about it and stuff. They didn't have any jobs, so they was throwing a lot of the fathers in jail and stuff. And then they were getting a lot of corporate slavery and institutionalized slavery that was going on. Because I remember when my brother was locked up, he used to tell me about all the work that they would do as far as making shoes and stuff in there. So I just felt like that they were getting what goes on, because if you look at it, a lot of our Black men, especially young Black men, are always in jail and they're always trying to find a reason to throw them in jail and stuff. So I just feel like You know what I'm saying? Like some of this stuff is just so political that, you know what I'm saying? Like for you, you may be a person who's running for Senate who is not about the money, it's more about the people. But do you think it's going to be a struggle for you to even get there because you didn't go through the small steps of going through the county? You're just trying to jump over it and leap right into going to, being a Senate and stuff. So do you feel like it's going to be a struggle for you?
No, actually, I went through everything that I needed to go through to try to jump into this. I won't be the first person to do this. There's other people that have ran for Senate and won and have never held a political office.
Okay.
As you already are familiar, Raphael Warnock in Georgia, and the young lady from Brooklyn, her name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She ran for the House. These people never held political seats, and they jump right into it. And I won't know if I could do this if I didn't try. The point is to try. But I didn't want no county seat or nothing like that at the low level because I can't really affect change there. I need to go right up there at the hill. I need to be in that dome. I need to be in there to help affect change and let other senators know what's going on out here in the streets, because a lot of them don't walk in our shoes. They've never been poor. A lot of them were born privileged. You see what I'm saying? So they don't know what's going on with the people for real, on the for real. But our representatives are supposed to know. The folks in the House are supposed to know, because that's why they represent the so-called districts. You're supposed to know what's going on in your district 24/7. But, I just want to get in there. I was trying my hand at this, but let me say this. This has been a very interesting experience running for a major political seat, such as the United States Senate. And I spent a lot of my own money doing this. And I'm not spending any more money because I don't have no more money to spend. I can't put myself in a position where I'm broke. I have no credit card debt. I didn't charge anything. I didn't do none of that because I said that was not what I was going to do. I am not running up debt to do this. So with the campaign staff that I have, we've done everything that we can up until this point. We've done everything on our own. We've done everything that we can up until now. The only thing that I'm not able to do at this point is to do rigorous advertising or ads. So, yes, I felt like I could jump the gun and just go straight to the Senate. Political positions are not set up like your employment jobs. They're not set up like, okay, well, you got to start off as the entry data clerk, and then you get promoted and you take these different positions and work your way to the top. So you can be a manager or a CEO at some point or on the board. No, it doesn't work like that in politics. Because if you look online, they tell you what you got to be to run for Senate. And all I needed to be was an American citizen, and I needed to live in my state. You have to live in your state. I think it was for more than 9 years or something like that. I don't know. It's on the Maryland Board of Elections website. It has the rules, and also on the Senate.gov website, it tells you, let me see, Senate.gov. It tells you the rules on how to run for Senate. And I qualified. It didn't say I needed a law degree. It didn't say I needed to have so many years of experience doing anything. It just, it gives you three things. Senators, leadership, qualifications in terms of service. Here it is. Because I specifically went on here. Oh, the Constitution says that you got to be at least 30 years of age, a U.S. citizen at least for 9 years, and a residency in the state that you want to represent at the time of election. That's it. It says the details of these qualifications were hammered out by the Constitution's framers during the Constitutional Convention in 1787. So that's it.
Well,
I'm over 30. I am a U.S. citizen because I was born here in Washington, D.C., born and raised. and I live in the state for which I want to represent. That's it. But yes, I wanted to jump the gun. I didn't want no peenie ante spot. I didn't want to take on no low-level type of spot. I don't have time for that. I'm the type of person where I want to get the work done. Let's jump right on it. I don't have time for the foolishness. I'm not going to entertain it either.
Okay, so what is your website if people wanted to visit your website to take a look?
MichelleSmithForSenate.org, all spelled out. MichelleSmithForSenate.org.
Is
and
it
they
the
can
number
send
4 or the
emails.
word 4?
It's spelled out, FOR. Michelle Smith for Senate. Everything's spelled out.
So, okay. I'm gonna
Michelle
see if we
Smith
can
for
put it
Senate.
up here with her.
And people can send an email there. If they go on there, they can check me out. I have a plethora of information on there for people to learn about me. Another problem about the people is that they don't read. A whole lot of people don't bother to read or to go to your website and check you out. People want drama. Some people like theatrics. I'm not out here to put on a show and be, hooping and hollering, oh, vote for me because I can get it done. I'm not like that.
Right.
I want to be honest with the people, let everybody know what's going on and keep them informed, educated. Because I know that a lot of people don't read, and that's fine. Some people would rather just hear it from your mouth. They want you to tell them. And the one thing I'm not going to be doing is lying to people. I'm not going to be doing that.
That's good. We need more honest people in the world. Unfortunately, I learned a long time ago, if you want to hide something from some folks, put it in a book, because a lot of people ain't going to read. So, like you said, they're not going to read and everything. So, but I hope that people will, definitely go out and vote. And when is the voting?
They moved the primary election to July 19th. It was next month in June. They moved it. They rescheduled it. It is July 19th. That is the primary election day. Okay, so I hope that everybody will get out there and just vote. I mean, at least I tried. I mean, I tried my hand at this. It goes on my resume. It goes on my resume. So
right.
Because this was quite an experience.
That's good. That's good. I mean, you got to try, you know what I'm saying, regardless of what goes on. Like, especially if you want to see change in the world, you got to start with you, and then you got to start by doing something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of people talk the talk. Like I said, I know so many people complain to each other, but they don't do nothing. Complaining to each other is not going to change anything. You got to go out there and actually try to do something, just like you're trying to do something. Like if you or when you become Senate, because I'm speaking in the universe, when you become Senate, everything, that's going to be a great accomplishment for you and for us and everything. And at least we'll know that we have somebody in there who truly represents us and who's trying to advocate for us, not just with gun control, but with changing and updating the laws and was trying to do what's best for people, when it pertains to taxes and things of that nature. Because, everybody, like I said before, at some point in time in their life, deals with some financial hardship. People just have too much pride where they're not going to say anything. And then sometimes you can't blame people for saying things, because sometimes all people want to do is know that you're doing worse than them and they ain't trying to help you. So, it's always situational and to each his own. But it's always good to know that somebody can relate to somebody and, build their way up. Like if you can do it, somebody else can do it and everything. So I do, look forward to you becoming Senate. And then when you do, I do want to get invited to one of those, what do you call it, balls or something to that nation, because I like the network. I come and I get my business cards and my plans and I talk to people. So I like to work the room and network. So basically, please invite me. I'll be there. And then, like I said before, this show right here, I do weekly, every Friday. I was doing it every Wednesday night, but I switched it to every Friday at noon. And I talk about real estate, real life, real talk, in real life. And I do the business spotlight with you, You're actually my first guest as far as my business spotlight. I have a couple of other people that are going to come on too. I have, but I wanted to do you. You can come back again if you like, Like, for example, this is the end of May. You just said July 19th. So maybe a week before a week before the voting, I can probably have you back on, so that way you can, remind people, and then, you can touch on something else maybe then. I mean, like I said, right now we do need gun control. We do need updated laws, whether people realize it or not. See, so many people, until things affect them, they could care less. You know what I'm saying?
That's
we
true.
shouldn't wait till it affects them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We shouldn't wait till it affects them.
But that is usually the case, because if they're not privy to it, they don't have to think about it. They're not privy to what goes on in the community. A whole lot of white folks, a whole lot of Hispanics, Asians, they're not privy to what goes on. So why would they need to think about it? You know what I mean? I'm being facetious here, but that's just how it's looked at. They're not privy to it. They don't understand. A lot of them don't understand what's going on. And like you said, some of them simply don't care. They just
Right.
don't care. But some people do know what's going on in the Black community. I'm not saying everybody's ignorant to it, but they're, because they're not. A lot of people know what be going on. They know what's going on. But some
Yeah.
people are just not privy to it because, like you said, they don't have to deal with it. It doesn't affect them. Until it affects them, now it's a big issue. Then it's going to be broadcasted all over the news. Oh, we got to crack down on the opioid crisis and all of this. Oh, because it's affecting your children now.
Right. And it shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? We're all
right. Yeah, it's just not right. We're up against a lot of bad things that's going on right now. It's just terrible times we're living in.
We got to pray. We got to pray. You know what I'm saying? I mean, prayer does change this thing, but we really do have to pray for each other and pray for, this world, really. So, but Michelle, I thank you for coming on and everything. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here and to share what you're doing out there. And I want everyone to check out, please go to michellesmithforsenate.org and check out her website. If you have any questions, you can reach her there. You can also find her on social media as on Facebook, Michelle L. Smith. And then your Instagram is what?
The Instagram is Michelle Smith, the number 4 Senate. And they can find me that way on Facebook too. Michelle Smith 4 Senate, the number 4. Okay, they'll find the campaign pages, and the group page is Michelle L. Smith for Senate. They'll find me. All they gotta do is look up Michelle L. Smith. They'll see the logo. They'll find me. Okay. They'll definitely find me. Michelle Smith 4, the number 4 Senate is and Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Michelle Senate. Michelle Senate. So.
Yeah, and I tagged you on Instagram and on Facebook yesterday when I was advertising for the show. So if people go back to my last post, they can click on your page there.
Right, because I did post. Yep. We
posted it. So we'll see you in July, the week before the voting and everything, and then we'll just go from there. So before I go, is there anything else that you'd like to say?
I would appreciate it if everybody vote for me. I'm not gonna, I would really appreciate it if they just vote, period. Even if it's not for me.
Right.
Just get out there and vote. We gotta make some changes. We have got to do something here.
Yeah, we really do have to make changes and stuff. But like I said before, and I will always say it, change starts with us. Michael Jackson used to have a song called "The Man in the Mirror," and if people really listen to the lyrics of that song, they'll understand that everything starts with you, regardless of what you do in life, and then whatever you do it's a trickle down effect to the people that's around you and stuff. But hopefully, people are listening. People hear me and not just listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. And I'll see you again on the show the week before the election.
All right. Thank you, Michelle Smith. You have a great day, great weekend. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, you too. Okay.
All right, bye-bye. All right, everyone. That was Michelle Smith on here talking about her running for Senate. Please check out her website, michellesmithforsenate.org. I hope you'll definitely will vote for someone like that. Again, in the world that we're living in, there's a lot of politicians out there. Everybody talks a good game. It's always good to have somebody that you know personally that's out there because they can advocate for change, and that's what we basically want to do. So let me go back to some of these comments and everything before I move on to the next and final topic. Okay, hey, Kayla, my daughter. She said hey to me on here. I don't know if she's still on here. Said that's true because I was paying. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I did mention about that whole situation about child support. I always think it's to each his own because, Terry Face 73, you said because I was paying. Yeah, but like I mentioned, if you flip the switch, my daughter's mother was supposed to pay me, and there was nothing done to her. There was no consequences to her. So I don't know what to say. I don't even want to really, you know what I'm saying? I mean, child support can be a sensitive issue for people, especially depending on what side you're on, because it's used um, it's used for financial reasons and everything. But like I said, kids are caught up in the middle of that, and I always felt like with the whole child support thing that it's just a sensitive situation. So let's just move on real quick. So I'm just going to talk about the last thing is going to be the world that we live in and your ex. Okay, I hear so many people talking about their ex pop up out the blues, the ex pop up like they're stalkers. You know what I'm saying? The ex calling them, the ex trying to get back with them, and things of that nature. And and people talk about their ex like it's a bad thing, but I always like to say that with your ex, at least you know somebody wants you because truth be told, a lot of times the people that people want don't necessarily want them. So um, I just want to say, how do you all deal with your ex, aka slash stalkers? Because people complain about them so much, but if they're so bad, why are you all still talking about them? And I'm only talking to the people who are always talking about their ex. I'm not talking about to the people who, had completely cut off their ex. Like when you completely cut somebody off, that means you completely block them. They don't know where you live at. They don't know where you stay at. Well, they might know where you stay because y'all in a relationship. But I'm just saying you completely block them. So why ex is so bad? You know what I'm saying? I mean, to the point where I know a lot of times people don't go backwards because they feel like, they got to move forward. But I also feel like people are somewhat stuck. People are not necessarily moving forward in life like they think they should or they could and stuff. And sometimes, like looking back on the ex, because I was speaking to somebody yesterday, and I mean, it was actually one of my clients, and she was telling me that she was dealing with some guy who was basically, he's a liar. He's a habitual liar, and that nothing he says is true. She can't trust him in anything. She said also that her ex is the one who, has been there for when she had cancer. Her ex was the one who, took her out for dinner for her birthday and stuff. And I asked her, I said, your ex? I said, so what's the reason for you and your ex breaking up? And she said, well, it wasn't his fault. It was actually mine. And I said, well, that just shows me that your ex loves you unconditionally and wants to get back with you. I mean, I said, no matter, what I'm saying, what your ex did, I said, there are not going to be many people in this world that's going to love you unconditionally and that is going to pull up with your BS, you know what I'm saying, regardless of what you do. Now, I said to her, so I said, if your ex was there for you while you had cancer, your ex taking you out for your birthday, and you're the one who kind of ended the relationship, I said, what is it to see? You don't know that your ex want to get back with you? And she was like, yeah, well, but, and I said, well, what are you looking for? Because I'm not understanding it. I said, sometimes people mess up in this world. Like we all make mistakes. We all mess up. But here's the thing. Nobody is the same today as they were 10 years ago. And nobody's going to be the same 10 years from now that they are today. So what I said to her is, well, how do you know this person hasn't really changed? Whatever y'all reason for separating and breaking up doesn't mean that people do not change. The problem with so many people out here is so many people are harboring unforgiveness in their heart. Like people don't want to deal with their ex. They don't deal with their ex. That's my ex. That's my ex. That's my ex. And yes, but you ain't really hold a conversation to see where your ex head at. Because sometimes the person that will be the biggest blessing to you may be your ex. It may be the person that did you wrong and realized, damn, I should have treated him better or I should have treated her better and stuff like that. But you never give them a chance because you're blocking them. And in the midst of blocking them, you're blocking your blessing. So I just say that to say, just like when I was speaking with that client of mine, don't block your blessing because of your memory of the past. You know what I'm saying? What you do is you take a self-evaluation and test of today. Meaning, if the person that's your ex is the same as before, yes. But if you see a slight change in them, then maybe you need to reconsider. Because sometimes God will already put people in your life that's for you, but you out there looking for something, thinking something out there is better because you're caught up in the hype of, what you see on TV or what you see on social media or what you see in your friends' lives and stuff like that, and think that you deserve that too. And you may deserve that, but where your blessing may be, it might be right underneath your nose. And they always say that the person you're looking for or that's meant for you is always underneath your nose. And in some cases, it's your ex. So I'm not saying that to say to everybody, oh, go take your ex back. I'm just saying you might need to do a new evaluation of your ex to see where they're at mentally. You know what I'm saying? Because it all starts in the head. So once you see where they're at mentally, you can determine which way you go. You can hold the conversation, say, oh, yeah, they still the same. And then you can move on. But then again, you never know if people change. Some people out here get convicted by the wrong they do, and they want to change and they want to be a better man or woman. But what ends up happening is they're going to become a better man or woman for the next person. And then you're going to end up saying, oh, well, they didn't treat me like that. And it's not that they couldn't treat you like that. It's because you cut them off when they were trying to get back with you because they were your ex and they messed up. You never gave them a chance and stuff like that because you harbored unforgiveness in your heart. So a lot of times I say this, that, so many of us, not just with relationships with spouses, but even in your family, you harbor unforgiveness in your heart and you wonder why you never be blessed. You wonder why that, you never have any good luck. And you be like, oh, I keep having the worst luck. I keep having this and everything. No, I'm not saying don't forget what people do to you. All I'm saying is everybody's human out here. People making mistakes sometimes is based off where they are emotionally, how they feel it, their past experiences, things they son. Nobody's perfect out here. But if people are trying, sometimes you got to give a benefit of the doubt because you never know. It may come a point in time in your life where you may be on the other side. Just like you don't want to get your ex a try, and then you might be in a relationship down the line and mess up and really want to be with that person, and they just cut you off, completely cut you off, and you're trying to win them back, and they don't even want to hear what you got to say. See, we never know when we're going to be on the other end of a situation because we always think we on top. We always think we got it together. And truth be told, we never always have it together. So I just wanted to share that. You know what I'm saying? I got this shirt on that said Black Fathers Matter. I have this on because Father's Day is coming up. I want all of you all to remember the fathers in your life. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's your kid's father, your real father, your stepfather, someone who's been like a father figure to you all. I want you all to show some type of appreciation. I'm not talking about buying socks or buying a tie or buying some drawers, you know what I'm saying? Like really show something, like cook a very good meal with T-bone steak with smothered onions or something. Give them their favorite cigar or favorite drink, you know what I'm saying? Get them a pedicure if you're not going to do it yourself. And I know most women are not going to do it themselves. So take them pedicure and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Do something extremely nice and everything that's like you would want done for you. You know what I'm saying? But in a manly way, have it done for them. So, and all men like to eat. So like I said, get them a nice meal, a nice hearty, good meal that they want to eat. Please don't forget about the fathers out here that are doing it, the fathers out here that do their best, the fathers that are trying. Because let's just say it's hard for a lot of people out here and stuff. You all may not realize it, but it's hard. Everybody functions differently and stuff. So again, you know what I'm saying? Please don't forget Father's Day coming up. Black Fathers Matter. That's why I have this shirt on. I'm going to wear it again on Father's Day. But Black Fathers Matter. Don't forget that. And then also briefly, I want to just go real quick. I'm going to take about 5 minutes to go over what I went in the beginning because there were some people on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn that did not get the message that I was talking about when I said choosing the right lender in the beginning. Now, again, when you're purchasing a home, it always starts with your finances. It always starts with your finances and always start being connected to the right or a very good lender. If you do not know a lender yourself, I would strongly suggest that you connect with a very good realtor who can direct you to a very good lender. And the reason why I say that is because real estate is always local. It is always local. I had someone call me about a week and a half ago. She's in Philly. She had a very bad experience. She walked into Bank of America. When she walked to Bank of America, they approved her for a loan. They asked her for the appraisal money up front. And when they did that and everything, she wasn't even assigned to a realtor then. She hadn't even made a contract on a property. Now, I say that to say is because basically you don't pay for the appraisal until you basically get something under contract. But the big banks, such as Bank of America, Wells Fargo, et cetera, they operate totally differently. And unless you have A1 credit, I strongly advise you to go through a mortgage broker, okay? And that your local realtor can explain it to you and the reason why. A lot of big banks, such as Bank of America, I don't know why, but they take 30 to 60 days before they close the deal. Normally, they need 45 to 60 days before they close the deal. That's 2 months, people. With a mortgage broker, they take 21 to 30 days in most cases. That's 1 month, okay? Please keep that into consideration because time is always of the essence when you write an offer out here on property. Now, with this particular lady, her realtor, who she stressed to me, he had told her he had been a realtor for over 20 plus years. For some reason, he didn't know how long Bank of America was going to take, I guess. So he wrote the contract to go to settlement in, I guess, 30 days, and they needed 45 to 60 days. And because they didn't meet the timeline, the sellers ended up relisting the property, getting another offer. She's ended up, her earnest money being tied up. She ended up not getting it back. So she lost over $10,000 and stuff by not being connected to the right people and stuff. So I say that to say is locally, if you do not know a mortgage broker, contact a realtor and a realtor who knows what they're doing. Again, like I said, well, she told me this one's 20 plus years, but based off the conversation, didn't sound like he was very experienced. And I also shared something from that I experienced years ago when I was like 5 or 7 years in the business. I remember speaking with a lady. She emphasized that she had been a realtor for 15 plus years. And I told the lady, I said, ma'am, you do not sound like a lady who has 15 plus years and everything. Of course, the realtor got mad at me when we got off the phone because we had a deal going on together. I pulled up her numbers. I found out in 15 years, she had only had 15 transactions. That's an average of 1 transaction a year. I had more in 1 month than this lady had in 15 years. But just based off the conversation, I knew she was not that experienced because an experienced agent doesn't say certain things. And again, what I'm saying to you is, to me, it's like cab drivers. A lot of times I wonder how cab drivers even got their licenses. I wonder how and they have to have 2 licenses, a driver's license and a cab driver's license. But they got them. And some of them out here driving, you wonder who gave them a license. And the same thing when it pertains to any profession that you're in. Just because someone's holding a license doesn't mean that they're necessarily experienced. You can get your license, you can pass the test, get your license, never have any years of experience, but as long as you pay your fees and dues every year, in some cases, you know what I'm saying, you still have a license. And that's why I also said when it pertains to real estate agent, there's a high turnover rate. That's why everybody always knows somebody who used to do real estate. Oh, my cousin used to do real estate. And I always, when people say that to me, I'm like, well, why your cousin not doing real estate now? Oh, they put their license in referral status. And I said, that means your cousin wasn't selling any houses. Because if your cousin was selling houses, basically they would keep selling houses because they would keep getting paid. See, people put their license in referral status to save their license and stuff because they're not selling stuff unless they move or they're extremely busy doing something else. But in a lot of cases, people, you know what I'm saying, who stay locally are not selling anything. And again, they don't have much experience, some of them, when it pertains to real estate. So what I say, and when I say that is, everybody knows somebody who used to do real estate, who sold real estate. My cousin did real estate 10 years ago, or I used to sell real estate 3 years ago, blah, blah, blah. And the question is, why aren't they still doing it? That's always the question. When people say that, why aren't they still doing it? You understand? The reason why they're still doing it because they wasn't selling nothing. Plain and simple. It's just plain and simple. But you want to get somebody who is current, because even people who are doing it or have their license, they may not be up to date. Because here's the thing, the real estate market changes every 3 to 6 months. The guidelines change every year. So that's why when it pertains to mortgage guidelines, they change every year. And that's why as realtors, we get continuing education class every 2 years because things are constantly changing. And just like your cell phone gets outdated after a year, so does things in real estate. So when people tell me they used to sell real estate 5 or 10 years, think about the cell phone that was still in place 5 or 10 years. You know what I'm saying? 10 years ago, what? iPhone what was it, 2, 3, something like that? I don't even know. But long story short, bring the iPhone 2 or 3 right now, and guess what? It is totally outdated. And the young people will laugh at you and stuff like that. So when it pertains to education, knowledge, and experience, you always want to get someone who knows exactly what they're doing. Because just like that friend of mine, unfortunately, she lost money. And I asked her, why didn't you come to me first? She said, oh, I was thinking about it, but I forgot and stuff like that. See, you thinking about stuff cost her money. You understand what I'm saying? Because I could have guided her to someone that would have directed and held your hand. Like I said, in the real estate transaction, realtors are the components that holds everything together. They deal with the lender, they deal with the appraisers, they deal with home inspectors, they deal with title company. They guide you. They're the one constant through the whole transaction. Once you get approved, they sending you houses, they showing you houses, they writing the contract, they come into home inspection, they go on to settlements and stuff like that. Everybody else, no, they got little components in the transaction. You know what I'm saying? They're key components, but they're not the one that's with you along the way. The real estate agent is. So you have to make sure that you are connected in choosing the right lender, because everything begins with your finances. Everything begins with the lender. If you do not connect with the right lender, it can cost you detrimental. It's the key to you getting that house or not getting that house in many cases. It is the key. In many cases, you getting that house or not. So please keep that in mind. Choose the right lender, but at the same time, choose the right realtor. So again, thank you all for coming to this week's show. I did a little extra this time because last week I wasn't on because I had technical difficulties. I appreciate you all. Check me out every Friday at 12 noon, where we talk about real estate, real talk, real life, and real live with Damon the agent. I appreciate you all. You all have a great day, and I shall talk to you soon.